How funny it'd be if we just keep saying Coroplast in this episode, but we just keep beeping it out every time we say it so that we make sure we get the right word in there.
I'll give you a blank stare.
Rick, if we say Coroplast at all during this show, make sure you beep it out.
That can be our
either fluted polypropylene or corrugated plastic or laminacorr.
You should just write this down.
You ready, Rick?
1-6.
I've been recording.
Oh, you have been.
Yeah, we're
Gotta get warmed up.
We don't have to warm up, Rick.
We don't
got
have
this.
La 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 la. Welcome, episode 16 of the Slightly Serious Sign podcast. Today, we are voted number one by our number one person. What is it? Number one?
Fan. Our number
Don Father.
Our number one supporter.
Our number one supporter is Don Father from Laminacorr. He's the one that follows us the most. We probably brought him on the show. He's wanted to be on since episode -7. So he's been on here the whole time. If my office looks in a little disarray, we had Tyler's kids in here on Friday, and that gentle parenting stuff, man, not working right now. These kids tore this place up. I came in here on Saturday. My phone was off the hook. All my stuff was on the floor. There was drawings on all my papers that were left out. So yeah, Tyler's kids, menace.
Hey, they were at least quiet and well behaved. I mean, to everyone else.
So we're gonna get into it here in just a second. I think I'll let Tyler take over from here, but he's gonna introduce Don Long, and we'll get started. Go ahead.
We had one correction. We have
correction.
to make, apparently, we get corrected pretty frequently. It seems like so.
Most fact-checked podcast in the U.S.
Yeah, currently. So in the Vanguard episode with Dustin David, we kept saying Corrugated. So we're just here to apologize that we should have been saying Laminacorr the whole time.
Apology accepted.
I blame Dustin. I'm just kidding, Dustin. I don't blame you. But
I blame Dustin.
Okay,
Yeah, let's blame Dustin.
For not doing his homework and not doing his background.
Getting it straightened out, Dustin.
But we
back,
we apologize. Though. We only have Laminacorr in the building. We do not sell Corrugated. So there's our full disclaimer.
Corrugated is gone. It's just a trademark now. Just a brand. Right. Disappeared. In dust in the wind. Kind of like tube light.
They're all just
gone.
One at a time.
Just gone.
Kind of like Midwest Sign and Screen.
Yeah.
Kind of like Denko. Gone.
They're all just disappearing one at a time.
Gone. In the dust in the wind. That should be a song. Kansas, 1981. I was there.
Listen, Tyler wasn't even born.
That's a little before my time.
And I was only 6. All right, go ahead, Tyler.
Well, that in mind, speaking of 1981, Don, can you just go through who are you, how long you've been in the industry, and obviously where you are now?
Well, let me get started by saying thank you for having me over, and we appreciate it. Laminacorr loves Wensco. Hopefully it's mutual. And before we get anything too further, all opinions expressed by me are my opinions only and are not to be reflected on Laminacorr or Wensco Sign Supply.
This is where we should have started with how we started episode 1. As a reminder, this podcast is sponsored by Wensco Sign Supply. So again, the reason it's sponsored by is not everything we say is necessarily agreed upon by everyone at Wensco, but for the most part, should be. So anyways, you can continue.
I got into corrugated plastic in 1988 with the former Corrugated, and between the company splitting in two, becoming a U.S. company and a Canadian company, and then mergers and buyouts and acquisitions and sellouts and then all that kind of stuff, I'm still here in the year 2024. And Corrugated Plastic has put 5 children through private Catholic school, through university, and paid child support to 2 parents, meaning females. And so Corrugated Plastic has been good to me. So
that is that basically what you've sold throughout this whole 45, whatever it is, years?
36 years.
36 years.
I sleep at night. I roll over and look at 4 mil white. And I go, honey, oh, you're so smooth tonight.
Nice. So that's what you've sold for 36 years is corrugated plastic.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes, that's at 4 different companies who are all related to a degree in some form. It's like 1 degree, like 5 degrees of separation, basically.
That's why we call him the Don Father. If you want to know something about corrugated plastic, Don.
My owner, Guy Robichard, at Laminacorr and I were together at Corrugated in 1988. He was 17 years old as a machine operator at the original in Granby, Quebec. And I was based out of Granby and Irving, Texas. That's where we first met. Then we split over to OS Plastics in the 90s, which got bought by Spartek in 98. Guy split off and opened up Laminacorr in 98. I stayed with Spartek for about 5 years, AKA Purgatory. Then Spartek, in their wisdom, sold that division back to So I went back to High and back, then got split off to Matroplast, and then got split off, and then went home to Guy in 2017, and it's the best decision I ever made.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually for everybody that's out there, how we got hooked up with Don is he came to an NASSD and he talked to us about corrugated plastic. We were at that time selling and I could see what was happening in the industry, like who was taking over that part of it, and I didn't want to be part of it. And he came to us with Laminacorr, and Judy said, "Hey, go up there and meet those guys." So I literally got in my truck, drove up there during a snowstorm through Canada, met Guy. At that time, I think I met Fiona and Crystal.
Yep.
And so I met the family. There's one other daughter too, the tough one,
Felicia.
That
one you want to get ready for.
Felicia is. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know her personally. I haven't ever met her, but I've heard stories about her. She's probably one of the toughest girls. Like she would whip all of us right here in this room, probably.
That's what I've heard.
So, but I love Crystal too, and Fiona, like, love them all. So, and then Guy is a great time. Like I got some sweet pictures of Guy. Like we had a wine tasting event together, me and Guy, and it was a good time.
The best thing about Laminacorr is our culture. It's family. It's family owned, family founded. These young ladies, also Isabella's wife, have been at the company since they were in the kid bucket. When I've been up there and you've been up there, these girls have swept the floor. They can operate the machine. They've made the phone calls. They've done the dirty work. They get their fingernails dirty. They're not dilettantes. And when I get up and out of here, eventually at some point, if I ever lose my hair,
get that, yeah.
No time soon. That. No time soon.
He's got sweet hair for his age, I tell you right now.
It's tough turning 30. Okay. The company will be left in very good hands. So the future of Laminacorr is very bright. Go ahead.
That was one of the reasons when I went up there and I met his daughters, like I had questions for his daughters, like how much they know about the company. And you quickly learn they knew everything about the company. And that was a decision maker for me because it's like, okay, this isn't an owner that just let his kids come there. Like he made them do exactly what I made Tyler, Tristan, Tayton do. Like you're going to start at the bottom. You're going to work your tail off if you want to get to anywhere and make them earn it. And
they're pushing brooms.
Oh yeah, you could tell.
Still. Yep. On weekends. If there's a job to be done to get out the next day, we do a lot of stuff in the automotive packaging side also, which require lamination and die cutting and other things, sewing. And they can run the sewing machines. And I've seen them do that on weekends when I've been up there.
Nice.
So it's all very impressive. And it's in their DNA. And after X amount of years, it's in my DNA too. It's just what I do.
Okay. So this question has to be asked because that's me. How old are you, Don?
I'm 71 and 1/2.
That's not bad. So I was thinking about the other morning. We already talked about this. So I lift weights a lot. And so every once in a while, I think I'm a bodybuilder and I'm going to do multiple sets and I'm just going to, it's probably what bodybuilders do every day. I can do it like once a month. So I lifted like crazy and I might even get the thing to Rick because I write it down on a whiteboard. And I got up the next morning and as I'm rolling out of bed, I'm like, oh, I can't quite make it out of bed. I'm super tired. And at the same time, my phone goes off to like what my activities are. And it said Don Long, because Tyler put it on the wrong day on my calendar. Yep. And I'm like, man, can you imagine if I was Don Long trying to get out of bed? Like, he's 22 years older than me. He's got to be sore.
Hey, I have 5 children.
Hey, and I tell you right now, Don, you're in good shape. You still work hard. Like, I hope when I'm your age, I have your energy level and your attitude and everything else because like I don't know if I can do another 22 years and still keep this pace up.
I have 2 unmarried daughters, pal. I'm working.
You know what's coming.
I got one coming up next month, pal. His back pocket is stressing on me right now, which is I'm all in. It's going to be great. I look forward to it.
But no, your energy level is unmatched for your age and your energy level and the amount of work you put in and the amount of care that you still have. Like it's to me, in this industry, you don't see anybody else that's matching your energy level, even at a younger age. Like, I think of very few people that I consider true sales reps, and you're obviously one of them. Like Joe Morelli's one of them too, where it's just like a true.
I've heard good things about Joe Morelli.
Yeah, he's just a true tried and true sales rep, working hard, and he's older than he looks. But like, those are the people that are like, if you want to be somebody, this is the level of work you want to do. You guys are a couple of those guys where it's like you want to be that level. As you get older in age and have that level of respect. So
it's about getting up every morning, declaring victory, and makes me undefeated.
That's exactly right.
That's how that goes.
Yeah, really what we're trying to cover with this too is like, so we're talking about Laminacorr, family owned, people that are working real hard, because obviously the people you guys are competing with are giant companies, right? I mean, we'll get to that too, but what we're going to running into is to do that, you kind of have to, one, care, and two, work hard to do it. And that's what we're saying is what drew us to Laminacorr in the first place is that. So
we're the other guys, so to speak. The Taiwanese-based firm is the number one player in volume in North America. And we're the number two with facility in Cornwall, also with the new facility in Dallas with a new extruder and acquisition. And the way to compete against someone 4 times your size is not to go head to head. We have to be better. Simple as that. And if you're better, they come to you. We're SEAL Team 6. Okay. We get in, we get out, we get it done. And my major competitor, the Taiwanese-based corrugated plastic manufacturer, is making a piece of plastic. Guy makes a product. And that's the difference. And it's paid off. He started in 1998 by himself in a room about the size of this studio. And 26 years later, there's 2 facilities, 5 extruders, 3 daughters in the company, and the Don father driving it all, without a doubt, to be successful. Just one very small step at a time, making a better product and having to prove it's better every single day, because the Taiwanese-based company just wants to make volume. And that's their business. I get it. I'm a free enterprise guy. But for us to compete and survive, we have to be better. And we team up with folks like Wensco, who have the sales staff and the product knowledge, the downstream knowledge, to be able to pull the product through we have to mate the product to the equipment that's converted. The corrugated plastic now is asked, those of us been around a while, I'm stunned with what the product is asked to do now, as what it was asked to do 20 years ago. Back then, it was one pass on a squeegee. It says for sale with red. Now we're on inline 6-color process, and it better be right. Or we're on a flatbed, 1-pass flatbed, and and we're not getting any more money for it. But the product is doing more for graphics than any other product on the planet. And it's not cheap plastic. It's polypropylene. Polypropylene is expensive if it was solid, but there's a lot of air in it. So to make smooth air is easy. Excuse me, it's not easy, but polypropylene does a great job for the money. So it's a value product. I wish that the Taiwanese-based company, I'm having fun with that one today, would appreciate their product more. I don't think they respect it. Here we go. We're going to get into the weeds now. There's film here. There's banner here. There's corrugated plastic here. And there's Centrum PVC here. We occupy this space here on the low end. The Taiwanese-based company is leaving multi-millions of dollars on the table because they could raise their pricing by $1 and $1.50 and not lose an order. And trust me, we'd go with them. Collusion. Because no one's going to move out to go to Centra. Okay? But there's suppressing the market, suppressing profit, suppressing acceptance, and turning it into a cheap piece of plastic. And we fight that every single day. And the success from 0 extruders now to 5 extruders says that we know what we're doing.
Yeah, for sure. What percentage of your business, or maybe you don't know, is sign versus outside of sign industry?
We have a varied product line, and we do a lot of on the packaging side of the industry. And I would say sign and graphics is probably 65%.
Okay.
Overall, between us and Dallas. Okay. We do a fair amount of automotive dunnage for returnable packaging because the material offers a lot of options as opposed to corrugated paper that gets destroyed, as opposed to, styrene, corrugated plastic, which turns yellow and just breaks. Yep. So it works out quite well. So we're good at it. We understand what we know what the material has to do, not on your shelf, but what it has to do when it gets out to the end user. Yep. Whether it's the sign and graphics guy or the flatbed guy or the fast signs guy or the big screen printer, we have to make a product that mates with the production equipment. Otherwise, we don't get to play.
Yep.
So we do a lot of marketing.
So with that in mind, you're talking about the Taiwanese company that kind of has a big portion of the market share. So what's something people should be looking at with corrugated plastic, like besides pricing, right? Price is kind of the main motivator for most people. When they're going to go out there, they're going to be like, what's the cheapest piece of plastic I can get? That's what they're going to be looking for. What should other people be looking for besides that to know if they're going to get the right product?
Smooth, flat, and square. That's the play.
Oh, that's a great answer. That's what I was hoping. I was actually hoping that is exact. When he was saying it, I'm like, smooth, straight, and square. I'm like, that's the absolute.
Yeah.
Correct
Our equipment
answer.
is newer. We run it more carefully, and you may pay a little more, but it costs less because you're not spending an hour and a half trying to fix it on the production floor, paying 2 guys to do nothing, and you're paying Geneva leasing product for a machine not producing. So by the time you combine your indirect cost to what you pay, that's what you pay for the material. So our tolerances are tighter. You're going to get it right the first time, not the third time. And less phone calls mean less stress and much better productivity overall.
Yeah, and literally every CFO does this, including ours here, where they're looking at, okay, how much does the product cost? How much do we sell it for? They're not looking at how much time do we spend trying to figure it out if it's straight, or like, okay, now we just like screwed up 3 boards because the board was so out of whack that now even our for sale sign is crooked when we stand it up. Yeah. So like a lot of CFOs don't look at that. A lot of purchasing guys don't look at that. But I think the reality, the owners of these companies need to start looking at like, how much did I spend in labor when I could have, like on a $7 sheet or a $10 sheet, when I could have just bought, I could have paid $1 more, and that hour that those 2 guys spent, I mean, I could pay for the extra skid.
We spend a lot of times at the end user. In fact, we almost, require it of our people out in the street. If you're going to be an order taker, go work for somebody else. We need you on the street. We need you in the back. We need you in the shop talking to the guys with the long hair and the blue jeans, okay, and the T-shirts.
Tattoos.
Yeah, a lot more tattoos now than used to be.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
It's a prerequisite in the sign industry. I think I'm actually going to get one
in the wrap industry
this week or next week.
Sure.
I think I might have to get a tattoo because I gotta belong. Right.
So we'll have sign man, sign woman, and tattoo man.
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And that it takes a little bit longer that because you got to get past that. So the purchasing agent who's looking at price has to understand that the guys out back, make them happy. Get it done. Okay. Yep. And we try to help the guy printing a little bit to help avoid unforced errors. Get the Swifter mop out, wipe it down, get the dust off it, get the debris, get whatever it might be on it, get some residual static off it, and get it on that machine and get it printed. Okay.
Can I pause for just a second? You just said Swift mop.
Yeah.
So I just saw this recently, and it was a brilliant idea. They had isopropyl alcohol in a Swiffer wet jet, like the thing that mops your floor. They had isopropyl alcohol in the sprayer, and that's how they were cleaning their sheets. With they're putting them on, it was already vacuumed down there, and so they're spraying their sheets and wiping them with isopropyl alcohol from a Swiffer wet jet.
I feel like that's a great idea, except for isopropyl alcohol will eat into plastic, meaning if you just leave it in there, that spray nozzle's going to get destroyed.
Yes,
if you leave it in there,
yes. But if you're using it every day, all day,
so fast.
Yeah, that's true.
Once you wipe it down, it takes off all the residual gunk
I was
be
like,
there.
someone in that shop, the lazy people always come up with the best ideas. So I'm like,
This guy's sick of wiping it every day.
who was the guy that came up with that? Okay, that's the laziest guy in the group.
Yep.
But the lazy people always come up with the brilliant idea. And that, I thought, for me, that was like a brilliant idea. Like, because he was wiping those sheets down twice as fast as someone that was trying to and he wasn't missing it because he was just going back and forth, and forth.
Big swipes.
We need like a 3-foot wide one though. So Swiffer.
Oh yeah, bang, bang, bang.
Let's make a
4 foot wide
Yeah.
one.
Let's make a 4 foot wide one Swiffer that sprays it all. One wipe, done.
Made lots of joint calls with Denise out east, and she has a lot of accounts. We ask her those questions. We go back, and all these guys, we never have a problem with static or debris because they wipe it down. Boom, boom, boom. It's 4 seconds, and they put it on. Whether it's my product or the other person's product, we still want the material to work because I care about the product line in general. Because I'm only competing against, the Taiwanese-based company. I'm competing against Sintra and Banner and film and acrylic. We want to be able to be the player. So the more our product works, the more that the ad agencies and the marketing guys, the guys way upstream, specify corrugated plastic for that program and not another media. Okay, so that matters to us also.
What are some of those applications where they might be using a different product now where corrugated plastic would be a better or a cheaper alternative that would work just as well, I guess?
Anywhere you see styrene, get rid of it. Anywhere you see styrene, okay? It's just a nightmare. Unless it's unless it's really thin gauge styrene for aisle markers at Meijer, okay, it's pointless. Putting styrene on a campaign sign won't last 6 weeks. It's going to waffle and crack and turn yellow, and it'll bleed through, and it's make people very unhappy, especially the real estate ladies who want to look at themselves, as they drive by their, listings. Foam lasts about an hour outside. Okay, not going to work. And Sintra, quite frankly, just too expensive.
So here's my problem with this. We have a sign out front here. So the same company that does my lawn does the lawn here, and they use like a 8x6 sheet of coral. No,
I did see that.
no, like that. Like, oh, that's a nice sign. No, it's not. It's a terrible sign. That should be 24x36 because I'm not going to make any money on an 8x6 sheet of coral with 2 little stakes in it.
I need step stakes to fit a 4x8 sheet. That's what I need.
Because I lost out on the step stake. I lost out on the material, and they're like, "Oh, isn't that sign nice?" No, it's terrible.
It is.
It's only nobody can read it except me that walks down the sidewalk, and nobody can read this out here except a mail lady. Sorry, Bergies.
Roman Davis.
Let's get some bigger ones.
Roman down a step stake completely changed everything. That was a game changer.
Yep.
Because now we had a system that was value.
Yep.
And any 2418 that walks out this door without a stake, you need to talk to Desi and Yoli and have a conversation.
Yep.
And with Doug Foy. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And vice versa. No offense, Desi and all the rest. I love them all. It's cool.
We do sell. So we sell most of our blanks in a kit.
Yeah.
So like you buy 100 blanks and 100 stakes. That's your kit, and you should sell them that way. But you shouldn't sell 200 stakes and 100 blanks because then I'm mad about it because hey, you got a little crappy sign. I don't like the little signs. I like big signs that can get blown over because then you have to get a new one.
Get a new one.
You got to get
We're like renewable.
We like renewables. We do not like long-term signs.
Yeah.
We like short-term signs.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll see promotional signage. Polypro is going to last a lot longer than that. It's going to, but you'll see the pump toppers. You'll see the drive-throughs. COVID was great for us. We love COVID because all the restaurants closed down, but the drive-throughs remained open, and they had all those drive-through signs. It was awesome. It was great. We had it. COVID was wonderful.
Yeah, and you've seen people that normally don't put 1 or 2 out, put 4 or 5 or 6 out, in front of their house.
Yeah.
So it was,
And then there was high school graduation yard signs.
Yes.
Hail Mary. It was like hilarious, because they were, they had no graduations.
Yeah. So,
but it's caught on and it's repeated itself. Then, of course, there's the campaign signs, the election signs. Now, we've had to modify our product line because the Taiwanese-based product company, instead of making it better, they've made their line cheaper. That's the other big difference.
Is it the amount of propylene? What is it? It's because theirs is definitely, there's a couple of them out there that sell, some of our competitors, where I can squeeze it so easily. It's like, okay, this is definitely less material to
like
be
a
made.
sponge almost.
It's
They lowered the weight.
which means every sheet weighs less.
Yes, they took plastic out of this sheet. So instead of, and since they're the market leader, instead of making it better, they made it cheaper. And I want to know what business school those people went to, because I want to make sure my kids never get anywhere near it. Okay, for God's sakes, but that's their culture. Let's make it cheaper, and we can, we'll have more volume. But you're selling it for less. What planet are you from?
Yeah.
Okay, so Guy wants to make it better, and it's a challenge to keep the volume going. But with people like you and others who get it, it takes a couple of times until they get a failure, and then it works out quite well.
And we keep talking that it's a cheaper product that's low end, but like it lasts a long time outside. Like I put up. Sorry.
Oh, corrugated plastic.
Beep that out, Rick. Can you beep that out?
There you go again. That's a patent
Laminacorr sign.
infringement.
So I have, I have corrugated signs that I put out by my house every time we have a party at my house, and I have them 7 or 8 years old.
You never have parties at your house?
We may have some parties at our house here and there where you have to park someplace else, so I have to put parking signs out. But those signs are the same signs just about that I've been using for 6-7 years now. And they sit in the garage all year, and like you put them out, they're still like you put them next to a new one, they're still white as white.
Well,
Like they're still perfect.
Even the one that we fully printed a 4x8 sheet and we put it by the pool, so it's getting salt water on it as well, and it looks brand new. And that one's been outside through winter for 7 or 8 months now,
and it still looks good. The print is good.
Yeah.
Everything's still good. Like it still looks really
we
good.
We saw it as short-term signage, but the reality is like it's about as the durability is going to be very similar to more expensive.
Minus has a couple vendors on there that we've had to cross out.
Yeah,
like there's 3 vendors on there that had to be crossed out.
A couple of them.
Rick, do you want a picture of that? I can take a picture of that bad boy with those vendors crossed out.
But there are challenges in the market downstream, which you folks and others are having problems with margins shrinking. Everybody's pressing for a number and so forth. And corrugated plastic being more of the value side of the equation, we have to coach my people the best we can to sell the product. Sell the account, not the product. Okay. You sell the account, and at the end of the year, tell me what the account brought in margin-wise. Okay, you'll take the good and the bad and the medium, and it's there. And then at the end of the year, we'll talk to you and say, what did the product line make? Okay, because there's going to be ebbs and flows depending on the job and the printer. It makes a big difference. So we have to go macro. Not that we're a loss leader, but we're part of the puzzle. To sell an account that uses many products. When I walk out of an account with you folks and others, I'm going, there's $500,000 here for you. Okay, go get the $500,000 of which I'm part of the mix. And if they want to buy something else from you or another distributor, that's fine. But they're calling you.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, so old school, back when you were in business school, Don.
No, back when I was hanging out with Fred and Betty and Wilma.
Yeah. Back when the Flintstones. When the Flintstones were live episodes. Everything was based off margin, which isn't always the truth. Even here, we still talk a lot about margin, but a margin on a $10 sheet and a margin on an $800 piece of vinyl shouldn't be it should be cost of the sale. And we look at that. We look at the whole Laminacorr thing like, okay, well, our margin might be low to match what our competitors doing, but like the overall volume of that account, what did that account make?
Thank you.
And that's where we're at. Like, okay, well, we want to see the overall. Like, we're here to make margin, but we're actually here to make money. Like, okay, well, what did that account?
You filthy capitalist.
Yeah, I mean,
we are. Yeah,
believe it or not, that's kind of how America was founded: is people that want to make money.
Wow.
I know.
So it's hard to believe.
Don't call the Governor Whitner on that one.
It costs money to keep the lights on.
She knows we're here. She takes a lot of our money.
She does. Yeah, I know. But we digress. But at the same time, I have to educate, or I get to educate, the downstream people, the Sun people, the Suma people, the flatbed people, who drive me crazy. Because in my opinion, if there's a car lot, it's flatbed sales. Okay. And I get the moaning, groaning about, gee, the black's not covering on the white piece of corrugated plastic. Well, why not? Well, it doesn't lay down enough ink. Oh, you're doing 2-pass? No, it's not going to lay down ink. You got to do a 4-pass. So that costs more money. Well, you can always go back to screen printing and lay down a lot more ink. Okay. Not only that, a 2-pass is going to wear the machine out. You know, Vanguard. There's my zing on that one.
Hey, Vanguard makes a very good machine. We sell them all day long. Please call us if you need one.
Ours is literally running. I can hear it running.
Ours is, as we're sitting here, I can hear
it going back and forth right now.
So we have it's a VK. What is our machine?
Oh, that's a good question.
It's a magnetic rail though. So when you're sitting in my office, it's actually out that way. It has the magnetic rail. So like it hums when it goes back and forth, and we can hear the humming here. So it's obviously running right now. Well, so we must have a demo coming up. We're probably going to sell a couple more. So Don Long, quit talking bad about them. We're selling one tomorrow.
Newsflash.
That customer could be listening to this.
Newsflash to HP and Viewtech and Durst and Digitech. Static bars, boys. Ionizers, boys. Don't sell it without it. Don't sell a car without tires, please.
Yeah. Which is funny.
Across the board. All of them.
We just talked about that. I don't remember who I was talking about it with, but that one has the ion bar button on it. And I had no idea what that was, because when we had them before, it didn't have that button. So I was like, I have no idea what this thing is for. And they're like, oh yeah, just turn it on and then you won't have to deal with static. I was like, that can't possibly be true. Sure enough, print it. Apparently that's all you needed. You just need one more button.
We just talked about the humidity in this room, because during the winter it got pretty rough. And I literally have a little thing right on my counter over here that shows the humidity and the temperature. That's not just in here, but like I'm attached to our demo room here. Like where we're sitting right here, I'm attached to the Grand Rapids, the main demo room. And we talked about adding humidity into that room or taking away humidity, depending on what the thing is, to make our demos look better. Because it hurts.
I was at end user with one of your sales guys last week, and the guy was bragging about how good he was and this and that and this and that. And we talked about static, and he goes, oh, we never have any static issues here. And his operator walks by and he goes, you have static issues? He goes, all the time.
Yeah, some people, they just don't know. Like even here, I mean, this room would be considered a great like printing room, because it's very controlled. It's controlled temperature, but we don't have controlled humidity. And during the winter or during some odd times, our humidity goes way low, and then next thing you know, you have all this overspray and everything going on, and so it's a lot of people don't understand that when they're going into it. Like, and that's not the sheet's problem. That's not even the machine's problem. That's a climate issue, and you got to deal with the climate issue. And you can't blame the sheet. Don't blame the machine. It's a climate issue, and fix the climate.
The consumable gets blamed first.
Yes.
Because it's easy to return as opposed to the $300,000 leased piece of equipment.
Yep.
So you guys...
We get both calls.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the sheet's fault, and it's the machine's fault, and it's your fault for selling it to us. But
I think
the reality is change your climate.
I think it's easy for any shop to blame either one of those, but I think a lot of times they just think it's a cop-out, like, oh, it's a climate issue, instead of like actually saying it's an equipment issue. But any one of our equipment vendors will all say the same thing. They'll all say, yeah, you need more humidity. So if all of them are saying it, I think it's in general, pretty good idea to increase humidity and not blame your substrates.
They have the specs. When you buy the machine, here's the specs. Here's the temperature it needs to go in, and here's the humidity it needs to be in. And then when we can bring in that simple little device that's sitting on my counter over here and show like, hey, you're not in specs.
It's low. Yeah.
Don't talk to us about your machine or product until you're within spec. Once you're within spec, then bring it up.
If there is static, it's going to find polypropylene and really find acrylic, polycarbonate, and polystyrene.
Yes.
It's a magnet. It's a cocktail bar at 5 o'clock, 2-for-1 special. Well, trust me, it's going to find it.
From working in the warehouse, we all know what creates the most static. Yeah. And without a doubt, you can get shocked the hardest by Sintra or PVC sheets. Yeah. I mean, it'll shock you, like it'll go all the way to like your big toe, because it goes all the way through your body. So like your big toe, ooh. But I love it. I mean, I live for that stuff.
And all the machine guys keep saying, run faster. The faster you run, you're going to make static.
The more static, especially, you know, exactly right.
So, and that's true on my material and everybody else's material. So like everyone needs to slow down a little bit, You have a piece of wood nearby. You can grab it, ground yourself, and you'll have a lot less issue, and you'll have less turnover of employees who call OSHA.
Yeah, getting shocked all the time. So we just say that to say, like, that's the biggest issue we run into with corrugated, right? Is people complaining about poor print quality or the ink not sticking. And a lot of times that comes down to static, right? If you're getting like a hazy image on your corrugated plastic, like we literally did one here without the ion bar on. That's how we found out about it in the first place.
Ink doesn't think it wants to stick.
Yeah, and it'll look like it got sprayed on versus printed on.
Well,
static.
the flatbeds, here it comes, are nothing but very fancy spray painters anyway.
Yeah.
And if the nozzles and the print heads aren't clean, guess what? And you're going to get static. It's just going to spray everywhere. Kind of like, when you're doing graffiti back when you're in high school up the street.
No,
at the opposing high school.
Anymore.
At the opposing high school on Friday night,
Tyler didn't
We already
get himself involved in
we
that
already had
stuff.
the tree huggers already were anti-aerosol by the time I got to school, so we didn't.
You guys weren't allowed to even have aerosol.
You weren't
cans.
allowed to buy it. It was locked up. It was locked up at Meyer.
We were in the peak of hairspray and spray paint being bad for the environment.
Yeah,
so.
this was not the days like when your mom was in high school where a can of hairspray was used on every girl's hair every day.
Yeah, full can
every day.
Aquanet, baby.
Yes. Yeah.
Aquanet.
You look at those pictures, like look at the early night, like 91, 90, 91, 92.
Hairstyles.
Yeah, all of them had their hair way up here and it was just rock solid. That's what hurt though. That's why that's why we have to have these electric vehicles. It's the girls from the 90s.
Yeah. But back to the subject here at hand. Those who have the inventory get the orders too. It's not expensive material, the inventory.
It's space.
It's space, and I get the new model. I understand it. Space versus value, that's part of it too. But if you don't have enough material, you won't get the order because these guys will sit around and wait. I want it tomorrow, and that's where you guys do a great job because you put it in that truck and you drive it. Okay, and those who have colors get the white. Those who have 2 sheets of green. There, it may sit for 4 months. It's $20. So what? But any good inside person will say, I need to put 10 sheets of white with it. Okay, because the green won't get you, to the 401k. But anyone who's using 2 sheets of green corrugated plastic is going to use 10 sheets of white, 50, and you build the order that way. Duh.
Yeah, and we do try to keep a fair amount of inventory. Like I said, I told you earlier, I was working with Tristan today. We put an order in with you because I realized there's a couple branches that didn't have it. Well, I realized they didn't have it because I ran back and forth to Indianapolis from Grand Rapids twice on this holiday weekend to get. And one of the skids simply the only thing on the truck was a skid of coral that was sold in Indy, but we didn't have it there. So okay, well. Who's going to get it there?
Yeah.
But at this
boss.
At this point, late on Friday, you got to get it there by Tuesday delivery. I'm like, we're not going to be able to call anybody else. So I literally got up early on Saturday and drove it, got up at 3 a.m. Drove it there and back.
A petition to make sure that we work all holidays. So
you got up at 3 a.m. You slept in.
Yes. Yeah. I do have a petition going. I got in trouble by Judy because I wanted to work all holidays. I don't think we have to pay you anyways. You might as well be here, right? I don't understand this. Okay, we're paying you. Why can't you be here?
It's just the way.
And it actually cost me money because all you boys came over, plus Philip came over, and then what? You guys ate my food.
Yeah.
So if you would have been working,
it's called a win-win.
You would have been working, so I'm already paying you, and then I wouldn't have had to pay for all your food for Monday.
Your kids sound like my kids. They hate me until their hand comes out.
Yeah. Oh, it's unbelievable. They leave with 2 or 3 pops each, and kids that end up with pockets full of snacks.
You guys aren't drinking them, so someone's got to make sure they go away.
Yeah.
By Sunday, the refrigerator's empty.
No, our refrigerator's full of pop, and nobody that lives in that house is drinking pop right now. It's why do we have all this pop in here? Well,
just
the kids come over. And
wait till July and August, it'll disappear.
Yeah. Oh, it disappears anyways.
That's our goal.
If you saw my TikTok, you'd see there's a TikTok of Tristan coming over on his way home just to get a beer and literally goes, opens a beer, drinks it. Thanks, Dad. I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm sitting into my gym working out and he's walking right by me. Hey, Dad. I'm just here to get a beer.
So going back, okay. I love your open houses. and they're awesome. And how many vendors show up for that open house? 40?
Close. Yeah, right around that number, depending on the location. Some of them change, but yeah, right around 40.
I'm competing with them too.
Yeah, correct.
For time, attention, shelf space. And I think a success of a distributor is to drive the factories, make the factories get off their butt and get out and hit the bricks, with or without your salespeople. I've made calls in Louisville, India on my own, and I pass out the business cards to the appropriate person and do it that way. But a lot of them just, here I come. Man, they're out of here at 3:05, and you and I are going to happy hour. But, you know, I think that in order to do better, we all have to hit the street more to combat the internet and the online sales, online orders. I get it.
That's exactly right. That's one of the things I think you do. Like I said, you have your energy level for, you know, how old you actually are.
Hey, yeah. Well, someday they're gonna say a lot of things about me, and I've told everybody you have a year to blame me. Okay.
And then it's not your fault anymore.
And it's not my fault anymore.
That's exactly right.
A year to blame me, that's fine. And they're going to call me every name in the book, and that's fine. But they're never going to say we never saw them.
I feel the same way. Like even around here, like as much as they want to say stuff about me, one thing they'll never say about me is that I wasn't here and I wasn't working hard.
Oh, you check on everything.
Yeah.
I don't have to. I say something to you, I know it's done.
Yeah. That's one thing. Like that's one thing you can control in your life is get up, have high energy, be happy, and work hard. Yeah. And that's the things that you don't want. They'll never be able to say about you when you do pass. Like, there's other things they can say about me. Let's just get it right. There's other things that, okay, they have a long list over here that they can't say, but there might be a longer list over here that they can say about me. So
we make our own luck. We just do.
That's right.
Luck's residue of hard work. Gee, that's a new saying. Okay. And there are those who just lower their price and wait for the phone to ring. Okay. But at the end of the year, they go, gee, the margins suck. Oh, well, that's because you don't try. Yeah. That's how that works. So, and corrugated plastic is less expensive enough as it is. That cost of the order remains the same for a skid of corrugated, for 2 sheets of corrugated plastic, and it is for 3 skids or a reel of polycarbonate. That cost of order is the same, but you can hide that cost of order in a reel a lot easier than you can 25 sheets of my stuff. I get it. That's the cross I bear. Okay. Yep. So we try to build the order very hard all the time.
Yep.
Well, I mean, we didn't hardly get through any of our questions. But,
carry on.
But the point of that saying, like, I think we kind of covered most of them in a roundabout way versus kind of going through it systematically, which again is fine. But is there anything you want to make sure that our customers know before we wrap this up, I guess?
Know that Laminacorr /TCC, which is our Dallas division, it's a product that begins literally at home. It sounds maybe a little, old-fashioned, but when you're privately held, family held, nothing new around here, it's in the Robichaud's family DNA. And it's, for better or worse, in my DNA. It's what we do, okay? And there's focus. All right, we make corrugated plastic only. We don't divert into other product lines. Some other companies do. That's fine. But for us to succeed in the marketplace that we choose to be in, we have to be in 110%, 8 days a week. That should be a song, okay? But it works, and it's hard to do. And Guy's only in his low 50s. He's not going anywhere. The girls are all in their 20s. And it's a long-term investment. We are open for site visits, either in Dallas with a brand new extruder that is knocking out of the park, and the 3 extruders up in Cornwall, which make a sheet superior to everybody else's. We're open for visits. We are staffing up our infrastructure to be state-of-the-art because we want to grow organically as opposed to making just another acquisition. Okay, to buy margin. We rather earn the margin because you make more money through organic growth and product development, finding new ways to use corrugated plastic. especially downstreaming with how sign and graphics are, all the new flatbeds changed everything. And the Zuns and the Consbergs changed everything, okay? So we have downstream equipment at the plant to work on that, so we get to play all the way down the list, all the way down. Because we understand there's a designer in New York City wearing a turquoise tie and a pink shirt on a light table designing something, and we want him to choose corrugated plastic, and it comes all the way downstream, okay? That has to be out at a certain day to make that movie, to make that TV commercial, AKA Disney, AKA Burger King, AKA McFlurry's, okay? It has to all make together, and we care about that part of it, so we stay on top of it. So we do the trade shows to be on the street and see what's happening out there, to meet you and others, to meet end users, to see the complementary equipment and promote the product and promote the industry. The Taiwanese-based competitor has thrown in the towel. Just get on the internet portal and order something and have a nice day. Okay, that's their choice. Happy for them. Okay, we just can't do that. It's just not in our blood. That's all there is to it. So that's my add-on. Okay, we have to be better, and we love being better. It's fun being better. And I get up every morning going, where am I going to win today?
Yeah. And
who am I going to beat?
And we see that the same thing goes true here. Like, obviously there's competitors that are way larger than us, but we're going to get up and we're going to do a better job. We're going to be easier to deal with. We're going to push our market. We're going to keep putting people out there. We're going to keep putting people on the street. And quite honestly, we're all going to meet daily and talk about it. Like, obviously we're over yesterday. Everybody's there. Like, and it's my three boys plus we've talked about this Philip, which we're gonna have to have Philip on at some point. So Philip's the kid that moved in one day and never moved back out of our house. Like, I think when he was like 8.
Young, yeah.
Was he like 8? He moved in one day and never moved out.
Sounds like the scene from Godfather.
Yeah, so it's kind of that way. So like, but this is what we do. Like, it's what our family does, and it's really what our management team does. Like, when I'm here, like, we're talking about like, okay, what's the next step? What's going on? And we live, eat, and breathe the sign industry. All of us here do. And your product's part of it, and we can see that your company's the same way we are, and that's why we partner with you, because we're going to be here long term. Obviously, Guy's going to be here long term, and his daughters are going to be here long term. And like I said, I like Crystal, and I don't know if Fiona as much, but I know Crystal's around the most. She's the one that seems to be the most, at least involved on my side of it
right now.
So and we did meet Guy's wife, which she speaks French, right?
She's bilingual.
So
they're all bilingual.
They're all bilingual.
Yeah,
so
all bilingual French.
So we have met her, and obviously we love like your happy hours at the shows, because remember we showed up even uninvited. Mm-hmm. He had 2 of them.
We show up to the ones we're not invited to.
Full disclosure, he had 2 happy hours. The first night he invited us. Second night he didn't invite us. We found out about it. We showed up anyways.
You waved through the window.
We waved through the window. We saw him in there.
I said, bartender, here they come. There's more coming.
So
there's got to be a little bit of fun too.
Yeah.
Got to have a little bit of fun.
And you have fun. Obviously, I have fun. We've spent a lot of evenings together and stuff like that, where it's like, we enjoy your company. We enjoy that you guys love the sign industry like we love the sign industry. We enjoyed Gia and his family. I had a good time with Gia and SSD.
Yeah. We look forward to this year too. We enjoyed after hours, and we praise God for Uber. It's great.
Yep.
Praise God for Uber.
Clearly.
It's great.
Well, that's perfect. I think it's a good way to wrap it up. So thanks for coming. We appreciate it.
Thanks for the invite.
I know it's not an easy commute for you, so we appreciate you coming out for it.
If I'm not changing time zones, it's only a commute.
That's fair. That's fair.
That's right.
So, again, thanks for coming out. Hopefully you guys got something from this one, and thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you.
Bye.